Hello friends and welcome in today's session. Today we are going to start our chapter number 2 part 3, that is separating the different components, right? See, this is in your textbook 2.3 given, separating the components of a mixture. If any mixture is there, then from that how the 2 or 3 components mixture is there, that components how it will be separated, right? So here it is given, heterogeneous mixtures can be separated into their respective constituents by the physical method like hand picking, sieving and filtration. Common methods are there, that hand picking means pick with the hand, sieving means use the sieve, and large size grains and small size grains are there, that will be get separated with the help of sieving. And filtration, use the filter paper or net or anything cloth, just drain it out, liquid will come down and dissolved substances are there, they will be remain on the filter paper, right? So simple methods are there, physical methods, right? And the next point is given, how can we obtain colored components from a blue black ink. So let's go with the presentation. Separating the components of the mixture. So this we just now have discussed the hand picking, sieving and filtration. Physical methods are there, very simple methods are there, which we can use to separate heterogeneous mixture. Now there are some of the special techniques used to separate the components of the mixture. In that, see, the first is given evaporation, then centrifugation, then decantation, sublimation, then again centrifugation, chromatography and distillation and fractional distillation. Two different are there, very analogous to each other, but little difference is there in distillation and fractional distillation. In that, first is given the evaporation. In that, see, when this method is utilized, keep this in mind that this will be used for separating volatile components, right, which will be a solvent from non-volatile component, which is a solute, right? So out of solute and solvent, solute will be volatile and solvent will solute will be non-volatile and solvent will be volatile. Then in that condition, one is volatile and one is non-volatile, in that kind of mixture we can use this method of evaporation. Why you have to remember this? Because the question will be asked that when you can use this method, or which kind of substance you can use, which kind of a mixture you can separate by a evaporation method, right? So here example is given, ink. If you see a ink is a mixture of a dye means color and the water, and in that one is volatile and one is non-volatile. Water, if you will see, it is a volatile, and color, if you will see, it is a non-volatile. So ink you can separate into its two components, water and dye, because of one is volatile and another one is a non-volatile. See here, if some ink is heated in a dish, water evaporates and dye is left in the dish. Similarly, we can separate the mixture of salt and water, sugar and water by evaporation. Very simple method. Earlier also we have discussed about this in evaporation point, and this is the method used to separate the two components of a mixture. So this is what the picture shows you, how the evaporation will be carried out. This is the burner through which we are providing heat. This is the tripod stand on which we have kept a net, and on this the dish is there in which mixture of salt and water is there. As the heat is provided, due to increase in heat, the substance which is volatile will get vaporized and evaporate, and the substance which is non-volatile will be remain into the dish, right? Same it is given in your textbook. See here, same, how can we obtain colored components, dye from a blue black ink, right? So for that, same activity is given. You have to take a beaker containing water, heat that water. On that beaker keep a watch glass which contains ink, right? So in ink we have seen that water and dye is there. Here we cannot give direct heat to the ink or to the watch glass. So that's why for indirect heating we have kept it on a beaker containing a water. So this heat will be given directly to the beaker and then to the water. Water heat will transfer to the watch glass and then to the ink. So slowly water will get vaporized, and in that petri dish ink dye will be remain in the petri dish. So in this way the two components by the vaporization we have separated, right? Here it is given the explanation. Dye in water is nothing but a ink, and we can separate volatile and non-volatile component by the evaporation. Second, how can we separate cream from milk, right? So full creamed toned milk is there or double toned milk is there. Different varieties of milk is available nowadays in the market, right? Or polypacked or tetra packed milk is also available, right? So these varieties of milk is there that contains different amount of fat. So how can we separate that fat or cream from the milk? This everyday's activity we are doing at home. Your mother may be also using this. What? You keep that milk into a mixture, centrifuge it, rotate it, then you will get a fat separated from the milk. Or just remember that how can we take it from the, whenever you are adding the water and curd into the mixture, right, and you rotate it with a high speed, you will get a buttermilk separate, and on that butter will come up, right, which is kind of a fat. So this is what it is called as a churning, right? So churning is a method by which you can separate a butter from the buttermilk. The same method we are using here for separating fat from the milk, right? So here if we are using the filtration technique, in that this fat is not separated by the filtration. So that's why we are using the another method that is called as centrifugation, right? So what is the principle behind the centrifugation? Denser particles are forced to the bottom and lighter particles stay at the top when spun rapidly, right? See here, this is what a centrifuge, right? So you can see here, this is the machine and this is the handle. When we rotate it, these are the test tubes. They will just go on rotating very fast, right? So this is called as a centrifuge. Here you can see the movement, right? So spin very fastly. This is what it is called as a centrifugation. In this centrifugation, when they rotate very fast, the particles which are very dense, they will be shifted towards the base of the test tube. So this is just because of their high density as well as the gravitational centrifugal force, right? And the lighter particles are there, they will be come at the top of the test tube. So if you use this method, then in this method you are able to separate the cream or the fat and the milk, right? So this is the method, that is the centrifugation, based on the principle denser particles and the lighter particles, right? So remember this, milk is kept the milk in centrifuge machine, spin it rapidly and you will get cream separated from the milk. Very easy method. Applications are there used for blood and urine test, to separate butter from cream and to squeeze out water from wet clothes. Dryer, right? Washing machine is there, in that dryer is there, same it will be used, right? In the dryer when we keep the wet clothes, it has a huge amount of water, and when we spin them very fastly, then all the water will just move away due to their high density and clothes automatically get dried, right? So these are the three applications of the centrifugation method. Next method is decantation using separating funnel, right? So this method is actually used for mixture of immiscible liquids, means in the mixtures both are the liquids, right? And you know that the liquid are diffuse very easily, fastly with each other. But suppose two liquids are there and they cannot mix with each other, means they are immiscible. So such two immiscible liquids are there, then that you can separate by this method, that is called as the separating funnel, right? So the separating funnel is there, that is used to separate the two different liquids which are immiscible. So in this you can see, this is the separating funnel. Here it is a kerosene blue color, and yellow color it is shown water, right? So if you will see here, the oil will float on the water, and water is heavy, so it will be at downside. At the base here a cork is there. Just on the cork, lower side liquid is there, it will be start automatically drain out. Collect that in one of the beaker, and as soon as this layer comes here near to the knob and kerosene is going to come, that time you off the knob. So in the separating funnel you will get the kerosene, and in the beaker you will get a water. So very easily this separating funnel is used to separate two immiscible liquids. Remember, see the same in the textbook. How can we separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids? Mixture is given kerosene oil and water with the help of separating funnel. This is the picture, right? This is the separating funnel, this is the kerosene, water, and this is the stop clock. On it water will drain out, and once the water is get over, off it, kerosene will be there in the separating funnel. Very easy, right? Applications are given here. Separate the mixture of oil and water. Sometimes suppose by mistake oil and water is get mixed, then you can use the separating funnel to separate oil and water, because these both will not be mixed with each other. And second application important, it is industrial use, that is extraction of iron from its ore. So whenever we melt the iron, raw iron is there, so in that ore is there and the iron is there. So you can extract the iron from its ore by using this method, because these both are in a liquid state, still they are not mixing with each other. So easily you can separate the heavy liquid is there, that will be downside, easily you can take it out, and upper liquid is there, it will be remain over there. So very simple. Principle is given here. Principle is that immiscible liquids separate out in layers depending on their densities. Principle will be asked in exam for 1 mark. Applications will also be asked for 1 or 2 marks. So these 2 points for every method of a separation you need to prepare. I have highlighted here, right? The next method, how can we separate a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride? See here, this is the activity which shows the separation of the ammonium chloride and common salt. This method is known as sublimation, right? In the interconversion of the molecules or states of matters, in that we have seen the sublimation, right? In this method is used to separate a mixture of sublimable component from non-sublimable component. Means in that mixture one substance should be sublimate and another substance should not be sublimate. Now sublimation means what? The solid substance without converting into its liquid state directly convert into vapor state, right? Gaseous state, that is called as the sublimation. So one substance should be sublime and another substance should not be sublime. Then in that kind of mixture we can use the method sublimation to separate the two components, right? So in that, see, take a mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt, heat it in a china dish, and on that china dish here the funnel is there, that is kept inverted, right? The end of that tube like structure of the funnel is there, that is blocked with the cotton. So whatever the vapors will be collected in that funnel, it will not be escaped, right? And as we started heating in that salt and ammonium chloride is a sublimating substance, so it will start to vaporize. So all the vapors of the ammonium chloride will start to accumulate here in the funnel, and as soon as it go up, they will be get little bit cooled. So these vapors again becomes a solid, and at the side of this funnel we can see solidified ammonium chloride. So at the end in the china dish you are getting the salt, and on the funnel's side you are getting the crystals of ammonium chloride. So just by simple heating, sublime substance can be separated from non-sublime substance. The same it is given in your textbook. How can we separate a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride, right? Principle is also given, and this is the picture, right? So with this you can clearly understand how it is get separated, right? Next point is the dye in a black ink a single color, or it is a mixture of different colors, right? So see here, in this method is there where we can separating the dissolved different colors into one, right, with the help of a chromatography, right? Now what is the principle used for the chromatography? So in that, see, the components which is more soluble in the water will get be separated, raised faster and get separated on a paper. This method is used for separating colored components from a liquid by using filter paper or a blotting paper, any kind of paper you can use. And these colored components means the components which gives color, right? So that will be separated from their liquid state, right? So for that what to do? Put a drop of ink near one end of the strip of the filter paper and dip that end of the paper in a test tube containing a water. So this is the jar or a container or test tube, in that this is the water, and this is the strip of a blotting paper or a filter paper. At this end we have kept one drop of ink, and the end of this strip is dipped into a water. It should touch to the water, but this drop is there, that should not be dipped into a water, right? So what happens here? This blotting paper will be slowly absorb this water, and the water will start to run in the paper, right? So whenever the water will come here, automatically the ink will also get dissolved, mixed into the water, and along with the water this ink components will also be start to move along with this paper. As soon as the ink is a combination of different colors, as soon as the water moves up, the different colors get separated on the various height of this paper. So here you can see the picture how the colors get separated from a ink, right? So in this way, by using a paper chromatography technique, this technique is known as a paper chromatography, two or more colored components can be separated from a mixture. Example is a ink, right? The same it is given. Now how can we understand this? Which color will be separated first? Here the component which is more soluble in water rises faster and get separated. So these are the colors which are immediately get soluble into the water, rise along with the water and get separated. This method is known as the chromatography. See in your textbook, this is what the activity it is given for the chromatography, what to do, right? Here the strip jar, in that it will run and the colors will get separated, right? How? Because dye is a mixture of two or more colors. Technique is used for separation of the solute that dissolved in the same solvent. More solutes are dissolved in the same solvent. These are the applications to separate colors in dye, pigments from natural colors, and drugs from blood. 3 applications are there. Next is, how can we separate a mixture of two miscible liquids, right? Earlier we have seen that immiscible liquid. Now here the two miscible liquids are there. How can we separate, right? So this is what a method by distillation. Let's see here, distillation. Now this method is used for separating a mixture of miscible liquids by boiling the mixture and cooling and condensing the vapors. Two things are there. It is a mixture where the two liquids are mixed with each other. So we cannot separate them by separating funnel, right? So what to do? First you have to boil that mixture, then cool that mixture, and then condense the vapors, right? So automatically that vapors will again convert back into a liquid. So this is called as a distillation, simple distillation. See here, it is used for separating a mixture of two miscible liquids having sufficient difference in their boiling point. Now sufficient difference in their boiling point means their boiling point should have more difference, right? Suppose one of the substance is there whose boiling point is 40 degrees centigrade. Then other substance or the liquid which is mixed into that liquid's boiling point should be more than 25 degrees centigrade, right? Means if it is 40, then 50, 60, 65. So above 65 second liquid's boiling point should be there. So the difference between the boiling points of these two liquids should be more than 25 degrees centigrade. More the difference, very easily you can get these liquids separated by the distillation. Now this point is there. The differences in their boiling point, more difference in their boiling point is very important, because the next method is there. In that also the boiling points difference but less than 25. If you do not write this one, you are not able to differentiate these two methods, right? So highlight that the boiling point of these two liquids should be more, right? Difference, sufficient difference should be there in their boiling points. Here the example is given, acetone and water. If these two mixtures are there, they will easily get mixed with each other, right? Whenever this mixture is heated in a distillation apparatus. Now in this distillation apparatus you can see this is the tripod stand, this is the burner, flame is there, on that wire gauze is there, and on that this is the round bottom flask is there which is attached with this stand, and in this if you will see there is a rubber cork in which thermometer is kept. From this round bottom flask there is one side in which condenser is fixed, right? Now in this condenser you can see there is a water inlet and water outlet is there. Means in this condenser pipe water is just moving, so whatever the vapors will be come through this pipe, it will be get cooled in this condenser, and then this outlet is here. Below that test tube or beaker you can keep, in which these vapors get condensed and convert into a liquid, will be collected drop by drop. So here the mechanism how it will be carried out. See, as here the mixture is there of two liquids, miscible liquids are there. When we start to provide heat, the temperature will start to increase, right? So as the temperature increase, out of these two liquids, here we have taken the water and the acetone. You know that water boiling point is 100 degrees centigrade, and acetone it is near about 40 degrees centigrade. So as soon as the temperature reach to the 40 degrees centigrade, the acetone from that mixture will start to get vaporized, right? Now these vapors will come up, and through this it will be come into this pipe, right? As soon as it will be coming through this pipe, here due to condenser, it decrease the temperature of this vapors. Due to decrease in temperature, acetone once again convert into a liquid state, and as it converts into a liquid state, we can collect that liquid acetone over here. Now this process will continue till the whole acetone from this mixture will not vaporize and come here. As soon as the acetone gets vaporized, all acetone over, then temperature will start to increase, because we know that whenever the boiling point of any substance is there, until the substance get not fully vaporized, temperature will remain constant over here. So as soon as the temperature start rising, means the acetone is get separated from the water. So this is what it is called as a distillation. See the same with the textbook. Separate a mixture of two miscible liquids. Activity is given. This is of the picture which is showing the distillation process, right? This is water condenser, and in this beaker we will connect the acetone. Now the next, see here, fractional distillation is given. So in that, what are the differences there in the fractional distillation and distillation? Here it is given that the two or more miscible liquids are there that can be separated by the fractional distillation, but the difference in their boiling point is less than 25 K, right? Kelvin or degree, anything, right? So if this difference between their boiling point is less than 25 degree or less than 25 Kelvin, then a fractional distillation process is used. Now how this fractional distillation column is formed? See here. This is the fractional distillation apparatus. In that same, the round bottom flask is there, to which we are providing a heat in this mixture is there. But here if you will see, there is a change. Rest all things are the same. Here condenser is there, water inlet, outlet, vapors will be passed through this pipe, right? And the liquid will be collected over here, right? But here fractionating column is formed. Now what is this fractionating column? In that small pebbles will be filled, which is fit on this round bottom flask. Now what happens? As the difference between these two liquids are less than 25 degrees centigrade, immediately the one liquid gets over, finished their vaporization. Second, immediately the temperature will rise, and possibility is that the vapors of the two liquids get mixed. So we will not get the two liquids purely, right? Again the mixture will be there. So to avoid that, see, the slow cooling will be takes place. So for that slow cooling, here small pebbles will be added in this fractionating column, and because of that, when these vapors will be passed, so as they pass through these pebbles, they will be again get cooled. So who is having the lowest boiling point, these vapors only pass through this, and those who are having higher boiling point, these vapors again get due to less temperature, as here cooled, again comes down. So easily by this fractional distillation we can get the two liquids separated whose boiling point is less than 25 degree centigrade. Means the difference between the two boiling point is less than 25 degree centigrade. This is what the difference between the simple distillation and fractional distillation. See in the textbook. Apparatus is similar, right? But fractionating column is fitted in between the distillation flask and the condenser. In between these two, fractionating column is fixed. Now what is the function of this fractionating column? This is also given. This fractionating column is a tube packed with glass beads, provide a surface for vapors to cool and condense repeatedly, and because of this only the columns get separate the two liquids whose boiling point difference is less than 25 degree Celsius. Next point is that how can we obtain different gases from the air? Okay, so this point we will discuss in our next video. So today what we have seen, just get a revise once again. Today we have seen the different methods of the separation. If different types of mixtures are there, what are the different methods we use to separate, right? So in that first physical method, simple methods we have seen. One is hand picking, second is filtration, and third one is sieving, right? Along with this, some of the special methods also we have seen, like evaporation is there, centrifugation is there, decantation is there, then sublimation is there, chromatography is there, simple distillation is there, and fractional distillation is there. In all these different methods, you have to remember that which example we are studying for this method of separation, then on what principle this method is based, and what are its applications. It is given in your textbook. So prepare these all methods with its principal applications, and when these which example is used to understand this method. So prepare these all points very nicely. You will not lose any marks, because most of the time question asked on this separating method, and that is also for 3 marks, 3 or more marks, right? No, not less than 3 marks. So this point and these all methods are very important. Prepare well. All the best.